A very good afternoon to every one of you who has joined us today at our first ever online session about internships, traineeships, apprenticeships, call them what you may, about the European Court of Auditors. It's absolutely great to see that so many of you could actually join us on this very first session that we are hosting. My name is Damian Fischer. I'm a Senior Communication Officer at the ECA, or the Court, as we call our institution, and I'm also an EU Careers Ambassador, so it gives me great pleasure to host this important event for our institution and hopefully also for you. It will last about an hour. We will have a round of esteemed speakers who will tell you everything about how you can apply and what opportunities we will provide for you. Now, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome with me on stage Mrs. Annemie Turtelboom, who is a member of our institution from Belgium. Now, you may know that our institution is led by 27 members, one from each member state, and Annemie comes from Belgium. Previously an economist, a minister in Belgium, and then becoming a member of the European Court of Auditors. She is now the most senior member in our audit directorate that deals with very important audits such as rule of law, 5G, that you all know, or car batteries. So, Annemie, it's really a pleasure to be here, for you to be here with us today. In your past life, you have been university lecturer, as we said, a minister, before you took your career step and coming to the Court of Auditors in Luxembourg. What would you recommend to anybody working or wanting to work for our institution?
Well, hello, Damien. It's really a pleasure to be here today. And I would say hello to all of our potential future colleagues joining us for our session today. It's great to see so many people interested in working in our institution. One may not forget to say that. But if you ask me at a certain moment, your question was actually quite a very interesting question, and I would like to point out some aspects, a couple of points in my answers. Actually, I have 4 of them. So I will start with the first one. The first is that we are an institution with a diverse set of tasks. For those among you who studied finance, we conduct financial audits. We check whether the EU budget has been spent according to the rules. We calculate error rates and we recommend improvement. But we do so much more. For example, for our performance audits, you highlighted the 5G, the car batteries report. You have the possibility to work in policy in a wide variety of areas, from the rule of law to hydrogen to migration. Bear in mind that of our 2023 intake of trainees, only 6% came from a finance or accounting background. So don't be too pessimistic if you haven't studied finance. The rest came from fields including law, international relations, politics, economics, and translation. Now, my second argument is actually the diversity of the tasks is something that is very hard to get in other institutions. For example, at the Commission, you might end up working on, for example, aviation or migration for more than 10 years. Here, you can work on organic farming 1 year, the next on the production of microchips in Europe, and the next year on a financial audit. My third argument is, with our staff of around 950 people, we are like a small institution. Now, think about the European Commission, where around 32,000 people work. Now, you may ask me, but what difference does that make? Well, I will tell you. At the court, it's very easy to talk to a director, to work closely together with our senior auditors, and to have a meeting with a member. We meet, of course, during meetings, but also during, for example, a lunch at a canteen. And all our teams are composed of a mix of nationalities. Young people work together with senior staff, and so on. you're not only learning about the topics, but also from people with different levels of experience and different cultural backgrounds.
Indeed. And Annemie, you have told us a lot already about our institution, but could you also tell us something about what's it like living and working in Luxembourg?
Well, I will be brutally honest to everybody who's joining this session. As I'm a Belgian, after moving here, I have been asked many times by people back home, but is there actually anything to do in Luxembourg? Well, I have been here now for 6 years, and I can tell you, yes, there are many sport facilities, a lot of cultural activities, and the nature here is wonderful. So if you make the time for a bit of planning around your social life, there's a lot to keep you entertained. And one bonus that I have found is that it is easier to get tickets for shows at the theater, shows that are often sold out instantly in other cities. And then I have to tell you, if there is at a certain moment one show that you really want to see and that isn't coming to Luxembourg, then I can only tell you that Paris and Brussels, they are only 2 hours away.
Indeed, there's a lot on offer in the city and also in the what we call Grand Region or in the vicinity. So that's certainly loads of reasons for joining us. But do you have perhaps one particular last message that you would like to share with our potential trainees?
Yeah, a very easy one. It's like, just apply. I know it is hard to get in to the EU in general, but also at the European Court of Auditors. But if you don't try, you can't get in. So I hope to see you later in the corridors of the court. And regardless of what happens, I wish you the best of luck with your application and also for your future careers.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Annemie, for being today with us and to, let's say, establish the first touch, the first contact with our potential future trainees. And what I can tell you, Annemie's door is always open, so I'm sure that you will have the opportunity to meet her here as well. Now, we've heard from a top-down approach, if you will, from one of the leaders of our institution. And now we will have the pleasure of hearing bottom-up approach from our actual trainees. So we will play for you some testimonials from our current and previous trainees, Michiel, Jennifer, and Ebba.
Hi, I'm Michiel, and I'm a former trainee at the European Court of Auditors.
Hello, my name is Jennifer and I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I'm currently a trainee in the Liaison Office at the European Court of Auditors in Luxembourg.
Hi everyone, my name is Ebba and I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. I'm currently a trainee at the Broadcasting Studio of the European Court of Auditors in Luxembourg.
My role involves taking part in various tasks that contribute to effective collaboration between the European Court of Auditors and other institutions.
Having had absolutely no background in finance or economics, let alone auditing, I presumed my application to the ECA would quickly end up in the pile destined for commiseration emails. However, I was pleasantly surprised to receive a call back from the press office here and invited to work on press releases, conferences, media relations, communication strategy, and much more.
My experience here has been incredibly diverse and rewarding. Each day here is so different, and it has given me hands-on experience that is both helpful and beneficial.
The traineeship itself was a wonderful experience. From the very first day, I felt that my opinion and abilities were taken seriously on my team, and I wasn't just brought in to fix the printer and fetch coffee.
My traineeship was a valuable learning experience. I improved my communication and analytical abilities and enhanced my administrative and coordination skills.
The ECA needs a diverse range of talents.
I really enjoy being in this multicultural and multilingual environment.
A traineeship at the European Court of Auditors offers an excellent environment for learning and development with the opportunity to attend seminars, conferences, and training courses on a broad range of topics.
I'm very thankful for my time here.
I liked it so much, I'm still here almost a year later.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with such a prestigious institution, and I will apply the skills and knowledge I gained in my future career.
So, don't hesitate to throw your hat in.
Thank you indeed to Ebba, Jennifer, and Michiel, who have been trainees with us. I have personally had great pleasure to work with them, all of them in fact, and I can be honest with you, I've never asked anybody to fetch me coffee or prints. Now, we've heard from Annemie Turtelbaum, who is one of our members, and now we will have the pleasure of hearing from our HR experts. we have great pleasure of having with us Mr. Enrico Grassi, who is the Principal Manager in our HR Directorate, so also in charge of recruitment. And Mrs. Anja Postružnik Ferreira, my fellow compatriot from Slovenia, who is an assistant to the HR Director, so also very closely involved in recruitment procedures, also for trainees. Now, first we will hear from Enrico, the brushstrokes of what the traineeship entails, and then from Anja, who will share us what lies in the detail. So, Enrico, perhaps the first question to you. Have you ever been a trainee?
Yes, first of all, good afternoon to all of you. Unfortunately not. I've never been a trainee. When I was young, traineeships were not so common, and so I entered directly in the job market. I regret it a little bit because traineeships, in my view, offer a great opportunity to orientate oneself also in the job market and to see what works and what works less. And I did not have this opportunity. So I'm a little bit jealous of this young generation that has also this opportunity.
Very good. A little bit of jealousy is a very good thing. Now, Enrico, what kind of profiles are we looking for here at the Court of Auditors? Is it true, the myth, that we might only be looking for auditors and accountants?
Yes. Annemie already mentioned partly a little bit of this topic. Indeed, the European Court of Auditors, despite its name, Court of Auditors, is not composed only of auditors. We have quite an organization chart that shows that we have, for instance, many different activities that are functional to the good working and functionality of the institution. For instance, we have a presidency that deals with strategic matters, with legal affairs, that deals also with communication and international communication, international relations. Then we have, of course, the audit area, the audit world, and Annemie already mentioned many different policy areas that you may cover in our audits. We have all policy areas covered also by EU expenditure. And finally, we have also a Secretariat General that deals, for instance, with IT, because everything is based on IT nowadays, deals also with translation, because all our products, all our reports are translated in all official languages of the EU, and they provide also language support to our auditors and to our staff. And last but not least, we have also more administrative directorate that deals, for instance, with professional training, and last and hopefully not least, with human resources, where I work and where you can also do some really good management. So this explains why not all staff is working on audit-related activities. Roughly half of our staff is related to audit activities, and another half to non-audit activities. Nevertheless, given the wide variety of policy areas that we cover with our audit, and the many different types of activities that are crucial for the good functioning of the court, both audit and non-audit activities require a wide variety of profiles. Here you can see in the slide all the different profiles that we recruited in our last year's traineeship sessions. So we have, as you can see, international relations, translation, and linguistic support, business, finance, economics. Law is very much prominent as well. So there is, I would say, place for anyone.
Excellent. So, if I can say so, almost a Christmas tree of profiles that we're seeking, but definitely we're trying to make a full circle. Now, Enrico, if I put myself in the shoes of a trainee, what could I be expecting to do at the court?
Well, first of all, entering into an international institution entails that you would be working in an international and multicultural environment. So you would be included in a working team, you would be working in a team, and usually on very, very stimulating topics. Annemie already mentioned some, car batteries and 5G and so on, but there are many, many interesting topics, from development assistance in third world countries to environment to financial instruments. So there's really a great variety in the audit field, but also in the non-audit field. We have a very interesting data team that deals with open and with big data and data analysis. We are getting increasingly involved in artificial intelligence. And also let me mention our domain in HR. We do a lot of marketing, a lot of communication, and a lot of strategic planning in order to attract the best profile to our institution. Furthermore, we have lots of activities that are tailor-made for our trainees. We have dedicated trainee buddies that work in close cooperation with my staff, and they make sure that you get access to many, many different activities. They allow you to network very effectively, to participate and take part in conferences, trainings, and also study visits outside the court. Finally, you will see really that a traineeship here can make a real difference for you and can provide a fundamental contribution to your professional growth.
Excellent. So indeed, it seems traineeships have become stepping stone and also a norm before entering labor market in these times. But there's so much demand out there, so many employers. Why choose the ECA, the European Court of Auditors, over others?
Well, I would like to mention a few points that are, in my view, unique and that lets us stand out a little bit compared to other employers and to other international institutions. First of all, as you can see, this unique combination of being a fully fledged institution, but of a small size. So we have a variety of activities that we carry out, great variety of activities, but with relatively few staff. So your contribution would count, your person would count, and you would have this unique feeling of belonging to the institution and of ownership that is difficult to match in other institutions. A second point is that being small, you would not specialize on very narrow topics, but you would have the opportunity to work on broader topics, to see more, to learn more, and therefore also to satisfy your intellectual curiosity in a much broader manner. Another point I would like to mention is about still our size. We have a relatively flat organizational structure. So as Annemie also mentioned, our top management is more easy to access. You would be able to meet our Secretary General, you would be able to meet members, but also directors and principal managers, heads of tasks on an almost daily basis. An additional point that is also rather unique is that we are small, we are few, and therefore we have to be good. And in order to be good, we have to provide access to trainings and to important events, not only to our staff, but also to our trainees. We have a very comprehensive training and events program that is accessible to all of you if you join our institution. The fifth point I would like to mention is that our institution is a travel-intensive institution. Traveling is very much used when you audit. You cannot audit by phone, so it's part of our core business. I myself, when I was an auditor, I've been traveling for in more than 30 different countries, and I've been seeing places and meeting people that a tourist would never be able to meet and to see. And also our trainees would have sometimes the opportunity to travel abroad. I counted that last year, in the last couple of years, at least 70 different missions saw the involvement of our trainees. But there's a last point that maybe doesn't make us really unique, but contributes to make us special and to make a traineeship special here. We are going to provide you with realistic and regular job opportunities after traineeship. So we are going to publish soon some of these opportunities, and we're going to publish these on a regular basis. So please stay tuned. There will be great news coming on this subject.
Well, that's already wonderful news, and I believe that you, our dear trainees, future trainees, are hearing about it for the first time. So we will put in place a program, a competitive program, so that our trainees can then look forward also to a longer perspective at our institution after their traineeship ends. Enrico, thank you very much for now. By all means, stay with us here. I'm sure that our audience will have plenty of questions for you later on. And now, as we all know that the devil lies in the detail, we will talk about little details of the procedure with Anya, who is also with us. So my first question to Anya, of course, is, have you yourself been a trainee?
Yes, Damien, thank you. And first, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining. To answer your question, yes, I was a trainee. I started my career in the institutions almost 10 years ago as a trainee. And I can only say it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it. Now, let's see how worth it is it really. How long does it take? What is the duration?
Yes, so let me first clarify that I will be speaking about the traineeships for which you can currently apply. This means the so-called standard traineeship and the positive action program dedicated to trainees with disabilities. So traineeships will usually last 6 months, and every year we will organize 2 sessions, one starting in April and one starting in October. Currently, you can apply for our next session, which will be starting next April.
That's very good. So this session is very timely indeed. Now, are the trainees getting paid, and how much?
Yes, our trainees that will start next April are going to receive a monthly allowance of 1,600 euros or 2,000 euros for trainees with disabilities, and they will get a reimbursement of their travel expenses.
That's very good. So moderately generous, and I believe we also stand out among the institutions in this aspect. Now, what does it take to be a trainee? What are the conditions that they have to fulfill?
So to be eligible to become a trainee here at the court, you have to fulfill 6 criteria. So let's have a look at them one by one. The first one you can already see is that you have to be a national of an EU member state. Number 2 is that you have to have completed a standard 3-year higher education degree equivalent to a full bachelor cycle or similar, or you have to have completed at least 4 semesters of university studies in an area of interest to the court. This is important to know that you have to complete this by the end of the application period, which means by the end of November. So the 30th of November is the date you should keep in mind. Let's look at the criterion number 3, is that you have to have applied through our application form. Throughout the presentation, you will see at the bottom part of your screen a QR code, which you could scan, and it will take you right to our traineeship pages of our website, where you can find this application form. If for some reason this doesn't work, there is also the URL code, which you can copy into your browser, and it will take you to the same pages. But let's look at the other criteria. So number 4 is that you must have never benefited from a traineeship in any EU institution, body, or agency. And this also includes unpaid traineeships. Number 5 are the language requirements. You have to have a thorough knowledge of one official EU language and a satisfactory knowledge of at least one other official EU language. Since at the court, our working languages are English and French, you have to have a minimum of C1 level in understanding, speaking, and writing in either of those 2 languages. And last but not least, number 6 is that you must have never been employed in any EU institution, body, or agency.
Very good. So these are 6 very clear conditions, I believe not too difficult to fulfill. So please go ahead and examine them in detail as well. Now, what about work conditions? We've heard from Michiel that he never needed to fetch a coffee or a printout. But what are our work conditions?
Yes, so let me first say that at the court we offer only full-time traineeships, which means 40 hours a week, which is on average 8 hours per day. I'm saying on average because we offer flexible working hours. This means essentially that you have to be available during certain time segments, and you are more flexible to arrange your workday in agreement with your superior around those segments. Then we also offer telework opportunities up to 4 days a month for trainees. And every trainee is entitled to 2 days of annual leave per month of traineeship, which means that if you have a traineeship of 6 months, you are entitled to take up to 12 days of annual leave. And last but not least, trainees have access to ECA facilities like the cafeterias, the canteen, the car park, the gym, or the library.
That's very clear as well. Now, I think we can have a look at what the timeline would be. So what can a trainee, a potential trainee, expect from the moment of applying?
Yes, so let's have a look at the timeline for the current procedure. So today is the 22nd of October, which means we are almost halfway through the application period. So if you haven't applied yet and you intend to apply, you have until the 30th of November to do so. Then we will move on to the next stages, which means that we will perform eligibility checks, we will do a pre-selection, and we will conduct interviews. And this will be done throughout December and January. So make sure that you check your emails regularly and also your spam folders. Then we will proceed with the next step by first informing the successful applicants of the results of the selection. This will be done in principle by the 1st of February. And we will start also the recruitment process with them, which means we will help them and provide information for everything they need for the move from their country to Luxembourg. And then at long last, the date we are all waiting for, 1st of April next year, we will welcome our new group of trainees here at the ECA premises in Luxembourg.
Excellent. So now you know exactly how things will go once you apply. But now the most important thing, how do you apply?
Yes. So you can only apply through our website. You currently see a QR code, which will be displayed throughout the presentation and the question and answer session later as well. Feel free to scan it at any time. It takes you to our website where you can find the button apply and access this application form. If this doesn't work, please use the URL also displayed.
Now, to end, of course, please scan the QR code on the screen and apply. And you will not need to look back. Please, before you do so, do your homework. Do a little bit of research on what we do. You will see, and you have heard today from Anja, Enrico, and Annemie earlier on, that we do stand out among the institutions. And by giving you this online info session, you have also heard from first hand, what opportunities we provide at the moment, and also what opportunities you can look at after your traineeship at the European Court of Auditors. I think we've exhausted all of your questions. I think we are extremely privileged to have had you today with us. Please, if you have any further questions, do not hesitate to get back to us. You will find our email at our website. You can also put the URL in the browser or just scan the QR code and go to our website. So for me, this would be all for today. Thank you very much. And of course, do apply and come to Luxembourg. Anja, Enrico, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck to all of you.